Hey, what's going on, boys and girls? Indie Pride here with Milk and Cookies Total War.
And this is 50 Bomb.
We just played a 3v3 yesterday with Happy Souls on Egypt, Yankadoodle on Rome, Suicide on Pontus, my good friend 50 Bomb was on Suabi, and Pictish Warlord was on the Bowie. And this was quite a massacre, a really, really close battle, really epic 3v3. So we thought we would hop on, maybe commentate a replay for you guys. I heard you guys occasionally like to watch replays on this channel, so figure we'd do something like that today. I was playing on Gate this game, and one thing that I've noticed a lot when I've been playing against Gate players is that they really like mercenary axe warriors when they get chevroned up, and I've really seen them get ridiculous amounts of kills before. I frequently see for like a 600 or 700 talent unit, they get upwards of 200 kills, so I figured I would try it out as a core of this game. I have 2 noble swords and then I believe 4 axe warriors, 3 bow horsemen, 2 armored spears, and then some spear horsemen and noble horse. And then you want to talk about your army setup for a second?
Yeah, sure thing. Oh, geez, I should have looked at this before. I can't even remember what I bought. 2 Riders of the Hunt, a Noble Rider. I've got 2 of the Hex Bearers, 2 Berserkers, 3 Round Shield Swordsmen, Swordmaster, and 4 Spearwall, and 3 Cimbri Bowwoman. So yeah, I was trying out some of the new units. I mean, I'd seen Indy use the Fear Stacking as well. I didn't bring this army to be like, I have the Fear Stack, but I do have Hex Bearers and Berserkers. But I was more interested in trying out the Cimbri Bowwoman, actually. Got 150 range, a pretty solid bow unit, actually.
Yeah, we're gonna hit play.
Sorry, that's all I got.
That's all good, dude. Don't worry about it. We're gonna press play on the replay right now, and just looking at Rome's army setup, and he's gonna be lined up right across from Suabi. He is not well equipped to deal with skirmishers at all. He went for a gladiator army, which is something you saw me do a couple days ago, actually. And as you all know, gladiators have absolutely tiny armor values. 10 armor on the regular gladiators, and then I believe 45 on the woman gladiators. Did he actually bring those, or did he just bring regular gladiators?
Oh, he just says regular of both, I think.
Yeah, so they both have 10 armor. They get absolutely shredded by bowmen or women, for that matter. And yeah, they literally cannot stand up to it. And you'll see once the engagement starts, once they try to get into melee combat, they just get absolutely destroyed. I was playing against Happy Souls. He was on Egypt. He was a very good player. We played 3 games, 3 3v3s, and somehow I managed to be across from him pretty much every single time. And yeah, he was a very strong player. He definitely knew what he was doing. He has a pretty interesting army setup. I mean, he went pretty cav heavy, a lot of Ptolemaic cavalry, and then some Galatian Royal Guard, which you don't see too often anymore just because they cost so much. But he's going to utilize this army very effectively. And for the beginning of this battle, it's basically just going to be a cat and mouse between him and myself. Like, I'm just going to be trying to skirmish with my bow horsemen, get some shots off, and we're just going to be kind of trying to dance with each other. At this point right here, I tried to bait him into sending his cav, and I could have turned around and killed them, but I kind of hesitated, and I lost my chance, and he brought up the Nubian Spearman, so I was no longer able to kill his cav. In the middle here,
Indy.
yeah, no, I got it. Jankadoodle is going to come forward with his gladiators, and they're going to get absolutely shredded by these Cimbri Bowwomen. Again, they're 150 range, so they have really high range, and the gladiators have no armor, so they're getting absolutely wrecked. And the melee fight's going to begin in earnest here in the middle. Basically just going to be a crazy sword fight, lots of dead people. What was your thought process going into this melee combat?
Actually, I don't know. I don't think that much. No, I was trying to be a good center player, which I honestly think I'm not a good center player, but I was trying to just hold a line between Pictish and Indy here. But Yanka's line was actually really long, so I had to like spread out quite thin. I've got some units on my left here who were fighting Pontus units. And then on my right, I try and help Indy, like once you start engaging those swords over there, I believe I try and help you out here. But really, I was just trying to tie down the middle, make sure Indy and Pictish flanks were safe, really, and I think I do an alright job. Just alright, though.
Yeah, and it starts getting really scary for you, though, because you don't really have any units that are effective at killing side chariots, and Pontus is going to get his side chariots into this melee combat. Basically, just run them through the middle of your berserkers, which really have no opportunity to hold down a unit like chariots. They just don't have the mass to be able to really keep them lodged up for too long. He is going to maybe miss a movement order or something, or they just got stuck there for a little bit. But he's quickly going to pull out and then just slam them into the back of your melee line. And that's just going to cause a ridiculous amount of damage there.
Yeah, it is, because I did bring the, what are they called? Round Shield Warriors, whatever it is. And they're only like low to mid-tier swords. So they've got like 45 morale or something. So all of them are gone by this stage. Like, so obviously the Sword Masters and Berserkers are still in there because they got really good morale. But yeah, they were pretty quick to go because of the Chariots. But I did bring them this game because they have Headhunt. So like for a 400 odd talent unit with Headhunt, I thought, well, they can't be that bad. So, but we can see the use of my Cimbri Bowwoman again here. I just focused on the Chariots, got them out of there as quick as possible, basically.
Yeah, and they're dead now at this point, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So you also killed his general, but now the melee engagement has started on my side. And I got 2 of my Spear Horsemen caught on the right flank, and they're just going to die to Ptolemaic Cav. They really have no hope of winning that melee engagement. So I lost that, and I had to pull my Noble Horsemen out of the melee fight. And this is where things get really scary, because you had a Sukiai Jankadoodle had a Sukiai Extraordinary that got caught up in your Riders of the Hunt. Yep. And he pulled away from that melee engagement, and he's going to charge into the back of my left flank here. I have a spear wall, or you have a spear wall, and I have a mercenary axe warrior, and these are full strength units, and they're gonna get hit, and basically it's just gonna cause a mass rout on the left hand side here. And my melee engagement went extremely poorly. I made the big mistake of sending mercenary axe warriors, which do have very good stats, don't get me wrong, for when they get silver chevrons, but they're gonna get wrecked by Galatian Royal Guard. And so you can see these right here, they already have 200 kills, only maybe like 30 seconds into the melee engagement, and most of my main line has actually already routed, and I'm going to have to leave my general on an island here because all my units have basically routed, and they routed really quickly. Even though they have 62 base morale, I guess just the melee engagement caused a chain rout, and my guys just routed even though they should have had decent morale. So I'm going to lose my gen. They're completely locked up against some Oathsworn and surrounded, which sucks. My general is going to come back later on, though, and that actually might end up being a big deal. So we'll continue later and see if that ends up making an impact on this battle. Over on the other side, the Bowie has seemed to wrap up most of Pontus, and we're actually going to get close up here. I'm going to put this in slow motion if I can. Great camel work. Yeah, the Camel Spearman in the middle here from Happy Souls is going to get absolutely shredded by a bunch of Cimbri Bowwomen. So they're at full strength right now. And after 3 volleys... Jesus, that is insane to watch in slow motion. That is 50 dead camels on a single volley. Completely ridiculous. Now, of course, they only cost 450 talents, so not a big deal that he lost that, but I'm going to put it in fast motion now. It's not a big deal, but it just, cinematic-wise, completely insane. They lost more than half their unit on 1 volley, basically. So that was crazy. And I had to pull out my units here and basically just keep anything that I could alive. So what I managed to salvage was 2 Noble Horse units, which I'm going to commit every now and then to the cavalry engagement and just try to kill Citizen Cav and Ptolemaic Cavalry where I can, and then pull out before they get caught. And then I believe I have my 3 Bow Horsemen left, or maybe 2 Bow Horsemen left. And now this battle's gotten really close, because Egypt has most of his army still intact, and then we have kind of shreds of our army still left.
Boy does have a lot of his army though. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, Pictish did a really good job cleaning up Pontus. But yeah, so I've got my 3 Cimbri Bowwomen, a Swordmaster and a Berserker, both about half-ish strength. Okay, my Swordmaster a little less. But yeah, so we're just sort of rallying around Boy, basically, resetting up, and then we're gonna see what we can do against this Egypt horde. And your general has come back now. I'm not sure if you've noticed at this stage.
Yeah, see, he did come back. Now that I actually remember, I don't think he ever actually made it back into melee combat because he's just so far away.
Yeah,
and he came back later on, so I don't actually know if he makes it back into it. But what's going to happen here is that basically the only player left on the field now for the enemy team is Happy Souls. He's got some Thorax Swordsmen, some remnants of Galatian Royal Guard with like 230 kills, completely ridiculous. And he's going to put his Ptolemaic Cavalry over on his left flank. So I'm going to try to mirror his movements and keep my cav wherever he puts his Ptolemaic cav, because I'm really the only person I am the only person left on my team with cavalry, and I basically have a full strength noble horse here. So basically we're just going to try to countercharge each other and see who can lock down each other's cav. I just have to prevent the Ptolemaic cav from getting a hammer and anvil into one of his Oathsworn, because that would kind of be decisive. If the melee engagement began and he ran into the back of Oathsworn or the spear units from the Bowie, that could cause a chain rout, so I just have to make sure that that doesn't happen. So it looks like he's going to commit here. Oh, what were you going to say?
Sorry. I was just going to say we don't have any spears either, like no cav, no spears, other than your two, basically. Oh, and one tiny little Livy Freeman. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the cavalry fight's going to start here. We're both going to activate Trample and see who can win in this cavalry fight. It's going to be pretty even. They're both shot cav. They both have pretty similar stats. So it's going to be just try to tie them down there and see if we can do something. On the left flank, or my left flank over here, I'm trying to get my bow horseman around. And one thing I'm going to notice here is that he's committing his Glacial Royal Guard in the middle, which is fine, but he's going to try to flank around with a Thorax Swordsman. So you're going to notice I pull off one of these bow horsemen here and try to prevent him from getting a hammer and anvil charge into it. Just try to tie him down. Now I know that bow horsemen will get shredded in melee combat with Thorax Swordsman. I'm not trying to prevent that because they're already out of ammo. I just need to make sure that they don't get a great charge off and kind of try and tie him down, which I did there. And I also brought this other bow horseman around the flank, and I'm going to get it into these Egyptian archers, which actually had a lot of ammo left. So even though they're not a great archer unit, they can still do a lot of damage, so I'm going to try to get those off the field as well.
Yeah, and by this stage my Cimbri bowwomen unfortunately have run out of ammo, so they've got their spears out and they're going into combat mode, see what they can do. But they do have 130, 180, and I think the other one had 180 kills, no, 150 kills. So they've certainly got their worth this battle, and I can highly recommend them. Even though they were shooting low armor units, that's why you pick your targets wisely, people.
Yeah. And gladiators are about the easiest unit you could possibly think of to kill.
Yep.
To kill with archers, just because again they have that tiny armor value and less men in unit. But it was a really, really close battle here, and I actually thought we were going to lose it for a second because the main line started wavering, and I thought he was going to get a hammer and anvil off with the Thorax Swordsman, which would have caused a chain rout. But the good morale from the Oathsworn and the fact that he had a couple of almost full strength ones was a really big deal for us. And then the fact that I prevented that hammer and anvil with my bow horseman a little bit was a pretty big deal as well. So came down to the wire, not very many units left in it. And if we just look at the devastation on here, how many dead men there were in that Suebi and Rome engagement is absolutely insane. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen this many dead bodies at the end of a battle. I'm going to look
I've certainly never taken the time to even look, though, I have to say.
That's true. But, like, looking at unit statistics, how many deaths there were, that's 2,000, right? 2,000 is 4,000, 5,000, 7,000, almost 10,000 men lost their lives on that battlefield. And of course the woman. Yeah. Thank you, Cimbri bowwoman. Thank you for your sacrifice. So I didn't do very well that battle, actually. My main line routed like right off the bat. These mercenary axe warriors, I really do like them with the chevrons, but I didn't support them, I guess, that well. And I just basically got outplayed by happy souls. But one thing that's important is that even in a team battle, if you lose a melee engagement, that's fine. Just try to salvage what you can. I managed to keep my cav alive, and if I hadn't kept my cav alive, if I had just committed into a melee fight that I knew I couldn't win, we probably would have lost that battle, because he would have had free hammer and anvils off with Ptolemaic cavalry at the end there, and we would have had nothing to stop it. So I salvaged what I could. I brought my cavalry out of the fight and kept them alive, and they ended up making a pretty big impact at the end there, even though I got pretty much destroyed in every other aspect of the game.
Yeah, you did all right, Indy. You did all right.
Yeah, so Pictish Warlord, like his Oathsworn absolutely shredded in his melee engagement. Didn't get to see too much of that, but you can see he also did use the Axe Warriors, and they didn't have any chevrons going into the battle, and they still got more kills than mine. Like a lot more. He had 170 on one of them. And then you killed everything, but you lost everything as well.
Yeah. Such is the life of a person in the middle, I think. But yeah, I just can't get over the Cimbri though. They are my woman of the match. Like they were so good.
200 kills, 144 kills, 153 kills.
Yeah,
it's pretty insane.
My Experts didn't do much. I actually didn't. I know I used Curse at one point, but I can't even really remember. I'm pretty sure I did route some Roan units with it, but I don't think it was like a game changer when I used it. But I thought overall for their price, the round shield swordsmen were quite reasonably effective because I mean they're just as I said, they're low to maybe mid tier swords, but they have headhunt, so
They're only like 450 talents, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so
They're
108 kills
cheap.
with that is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
And I do like the new spears as well. I mean, they didn't get a chance to do much, but they're
spear wall?
super solid. Yeah, super solid.
the thing that's been frustrating me about spears in Rome 2 is that they just don't kill cav quickly. Like,
Yeah.
basically the cav has to be completely wrapped up in the melee engagement and, like, sandwiched between two infantry units for you to actually kill them. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they can just pull out again and not really... Like, if the cav isn't in the middle of the spear unit, they don't really die that easily.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of been frustrating to me because, like, you would think that a spear unit with 85 defense would be fantastic against enemy cavalry. But in a bunch of the battles I've played recently, they haven't been because they just can't really lock them down.
Yeah, I found that as well, and I think the biggest problem is that Cav, if they do get into combat with spears, they can so easily get out and they'll lose like one guy because the spears like don't even do anything. They just stand there and they're like, "See you later, guys.
Yeah.
Have fun with the rest of the battle." You know, like they don't even try and kill them when they pulling out. So that's what annoys me the most. But yeah,
Looking at some more stats here, Suicide for Pontus had a lot of kills on the Chariots. Now, Chariots can do more than that, and I think that maybe if he had gone for your archers instead of going for the melee engagement right away, I think he could have probably gotten upwards of 600 kills in that battle, because, I don't know, did you actually notice the Chariots? Did you send like a cavalry unit to go deal with them?
I sent a spear.
Okay.
I had no cavalry.
Yeah, I don't think
unit.
that would have worked too well for you. So
Yeah.
like, I think that if I'd have to watch the replay again, but I believe if he had sent his chariot around to kill the Cimbri bowwoman and then slammed into the back of the melee engagement, I think he probably would have gotten like 600 kills and you wouldn't have had anything left.
Yeah, it is true. But I mean, it was I suppose it would have been quite hard for him to get through to the bowwoman, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then Rome had a ton of kills on his Sukiyaki Swordinari, but again, and I think it was kind of a trollish army, like he was just messing around, seeing if he could make it work. It didn't really, like he had plenty of kills, he had more kills than me, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Suebi didn't have a lot of high tier units, so like those round shield swordsmen are just going to die very easily to gladiators. So overall, he got a decent amount of kills, but didn't quite make the impact on the battle that he wanted to, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he only bought it because of you, Indy. So this is what
Well,
you've created.
That might be true. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him. But it was a really interesting battle. Quite the massacre. Lots of dead bodies in the middle there. Pretty enjoyable. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the close-ups and the commentary. And we did play a bunch of 3v3s. I don't know how many more of the ones from last night we played will go up, but we had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. So, 50 Bomb, you got anything else you want to say?
Nope, I never do. You should just stop asking me.
Whatever, dude. I mean, I'm just waiting for the day that you actually say something interesting.
Yeah, I'll have some final word that will blow everyone's mind.
One day it'll happen. I believe.
But not today.
All right. Peace out, boys and girls.